NCAA, Western Washington University Athletics, and the Great Northwest Athletic Conference encourage good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or ethnic comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Good evening, fans, and welcome to Robert S. Harrington Field on the campus of Western Washington University for tonight's Great Northwest Athletic Conference matchup featuring your Western Washington Vikings and the Simon Fraser Red Leafs. Prior to the start of tonight's 90-minute match, we will introduce the starting 11 for both teams. First, for the visiting Red Leafs out of Simon Fraser University from Burnaby, British Columbia. Their starting 11 is announced by their head coach, Clint Schneider, and assistant coaches Kevin Harms, Josh Smith, and Tyler Baldick. First for the Red Leafs is the captain, number 13, Eustace Meyer. The goalkeeper, number 27, Maddox Colligan. Number 4, Nikolai Plaksik. Number 6, Tristan Torreson. Number 9, Koji Poon. Number 10, Michael Hennessy. Number 12, Alexandre Marcoux. Number 16, Danny Hobson. Number 19, Kunda Bianami Dominique. Number 21, Isaac Strand. And number 28, Aaron Colborn. Fans, those are your starting Red Leafs. And now let's meet the host Vikings of Western Washington, as announced by their head coach, Greg Brisbane, and assistant coaches Chuck Fitz, Matt Zagulis, and Kyle Langowski. First for the Vikings, at defender, a senior captain, number 8, Jacob Sundberg. In the midfield, a sophomore captain from Mount Vernon, number 13, Kuao Serrano. At goalkeeper, a sophomore from Seattle, number 33, Charlie Dyer. In the midfield, a senior from Everett, number 6, Caden Wall. At forward, a junior from Sweden, number 7, Albin Janssen. A senior midfielder from Auburn, number 10, Andrew Roeder. At forward, a senior from Renton, number 11, Eric Bunnell. A senior midfielder from Snohomish, number 17, Aiden Fernandez. At defender, a sophomore from Bergamo, Italy, number 18, Sebastiano Silvetti. At defender, a sophomore from Seattle, number 19, Krubel Tesfaye. And a defender junior from Sweden, number 21, Joar Tidblom. Fans, your starting Vikings. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we gather tonight on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish peoples who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin throughout the San Juan Islands and the North Cascades watershed from time immemorial. Please join us in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for our indigenous neighbors, the Lummi Nation and Nooksack tribe, for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. Now, fans, please rise if able and turn your attention to the flags to the right of the scoreboard for the playing of both national anthems. The Canadian first, followed by the Star-Spangled Banner.
Hello and welcome to Harrington Field, Western Washington's men's soccer on tap here against Simon Fraser University. The Western Washington Vikings red hot on a 6-game winning streak. To put that in perspective, this is just the third 6-game winning streak in the last 20 years for this program, and they've gotten hot at the right time. They sit second in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference, just 5 points behind Western Oregon University in the standings, and they need every bit of these last 3 games on the GNAC schedule to apply pressure to the top of the table, try to make a run towards the playoffs and towards a possible GNAC regular season title. And that 3-game stretch, the home stretch, starts here at home against Simon Fraser University, a team that is scuffling currently. They sit at 2-6-0 in GNAC play, second to last in the conference, ahead of only winless St. Martin's University. For Simon Fraser, this has been a historic season for all the wrong reasons. They are right now on pace to have their first sub-500 men's soccer season in program history at the Division II level. That goes back to 2010. You look at the Simon Fraser squad, such a history of success, 8 GNAC titles, the defending GNAC champions. But this year, they need to win out just to go to 500 in GNAC play. They've never finished at 500 or below 500 in conference play since 2010. But the Vikings trying to take advantage of that poor form as they make their run towards the top of the table. Western Oregon, the Vikings' only main competitor for that top spot, not playing today. They will come to town next week for Senior Day, an all-important Senior Day matchup with Western Washington, and hopefully the Vikings will be riding an even longer win streak as they've got to pick up a win today and on the road against MSUB to keep pace at the top of the table. I am Adam Race, your voice of Viking soccer. So good to be with you here at this sunset kickoff here a Thursday night in Bellingham. And a beautiful night for soccer. Western Washington in the light blue jerseys. They will be attacking from left to right on your screen as the Red Leafs in red attacking from right to left. As Qual Serrano kicks it off, Sebastiano Silvetti boots it long. He's back from a short yellow card suspension. The Vikings really shows the ability that they've been having to win gritty games over this win streak. They've gone without their all GNAC selection in Sebastiano Silvetti at center back. They put a few players into that role. Joar Tidblom, Krubel Tesfaye, even Riley Burai-Brown, the freshmen, have slotted in to try to fill that role. But Silvetti brings so much value to this team, an excellent ball-playing center back, as well as a tall, imposing physical presence that not a lot of players can get by. But with that comes a lot of fouls and a yellow card accumulation that knocked him out for a few games. The Vikings go up the wing looking for Jacob Sundberg, the senior. He gets there just in time, puts it into the middle, and it's cleared away. Western Washington coming off a win against St. Martin's in their last game. That was here at Harrington Field, just 1-0. Although it goes into the win column, that was a nervy one for Western Washington. St. Martin's a team that had yet to win or draw a game this season, the only team in Division II to have that negative pedigree of not having a positive result. The Vikings were 10 minutes away from giving them their first positive result, but Lucas Hakamada, a beautiful diving header, was able to get the difference the Vikings needed to continue the win streak, their longest since 2019. That 2019 season, the last time the Vikings won the GNAC regular season title, and I'll be honest, they need a lot to go their way if they're going to pick up this regular season title in 2024. A Western Oregon team with just a single blemish on their record, just the one loss. The Vikings are going to need to beat them next week and hope that a team can cause an upset against them, but it's certainly not out of the question. They've got work to do here. This one's put in the middle for Wall. He had a shot in a lot of space, and he put it right at the goalkeeper. That'll be one that Caden Wall will wish he got back. Wall, who has done a lot of the distribution this year for the Vikings, 5 assists for him, is one of the best marks in the conference. He's also had a few clutch finishes. He scored the winning penalty against Seattle Pacific on rivalry night with less than a minute on the clock. Perhaps the best win the Vikings have picked up this year as SFU looks to go long, and immediately Silvetti showing his presence, a beautiful sliding tackle to take away an opportunity from Alexandre Marcoux. And the Vikings straight back the other way with Bunnell on the right wing. An open game to start things out here. Just 3 minutes gone. Wall, another shot. This time he whiffs on it. Falls to Quao. SFU have played a lot of wide open games this year. Games in which Simon Fraser are playing have an average of 30 shots between the two teams. They're giving up 15 shots a game and taking 12. Vikings lead the conference in shots per game at 14. So we could see a lot of action here today, as down behind the play is Marcoux. He was a little shaken up off that slide tackle from Silvetti, which turned out to be a clean one, but still looked to have caught him. We've got an early stoppage here with 42 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock. Getting the start today in net for Simon Fraser. A notable change for Clint Schneider's Red Leafs, his 10th season as head coach. Maddox Colligan, the redshirt freshman out of Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, between the sticks for Simon Fraser, already called into action to make a save on a Caden Walsh shot that ended up far too close to the netminder. So Western Washington team that has won 6 on the bounce. They have the joint best defensive record in the conference, tied only with Western Oregon. And they're top 4 in the conference when it comes to goals per game, scoring about a goal and a half per game. You look on the other end, Simon Fraser, just a year ago in GNAC play, this team was scoring 3 a game and only conceding 1 a game, but that has completely flipped on them in 2024. Scoring less than a goal per game, only 2 teams in the conference with less than a goal per game. It's them and St. Martin's University, conceding almost 2 per game. They've only kept 1 GNAC shutout, so the Vikings are going to want to get on the board early and try to hold on to that lead, as we're going to have an extra set of hands out here to help Marcoux, who is still down on the ground, nursing, it looks like, the lower right leg, perhaps the ankle, as it looks like it's going to be a signal to the bench that there will be a change. I believe that is head coach Clint Schneider out there to talk with his striker. Simon Fraser, a team who have been looking for a new option up front. This was such an elite team in 2023. They had so many options. Devin Ohio, the 2023 GNAC Player of the Year, he was good for 9 goals and 9 assists in that GNAC Player of the Year campaign. They lost him to graduation. They lost Nico Papakirakopoulos, the GNAC Defensive Player of the Year, as Marcoux is now up on his feet. Certainly hobbled, but he'll get off the field under his own power. That's at least good to see. Marcoux, part of this young SFU squad, freshman out of Victoriaville, Quebec, as he is going to get helped off the pitch by the trainer as both teams start to regroup. Simon Fraser losing the offensive and defensive player of the year in the GNAC from last season, and they've been looking to replace their production in front of net. They just haven't been able to do so, as Silvetti, over to apologize, he did put in the tackle that has Marcoux hurt. It was a good tackle on a possible breakaway opportunity, but Silvetti catching a little too much body. So we're going to see the first substitution of this match really early on, as Marcoux will go to the sideline, and he will be replaced by Justin George, another freshman, forward out of North Vancouver, BC. That's a tough loss for Simon Fraser in this match. Marcoux has taken more shots than anyone else on this Red Leafs team. He's had 1.6 per game. He's got a single goal. George, on the other hand, this will be his 8th appearance of the year. He's got just 2 shots, has not found the back of the net or provided an assist, but he's going to play some solid minutes here today as he's coming in with just 3 minutes gone. We're back underway. Tidblom looks long towards Alvin Janssen, finds him. Janssen hounded by Dominique. He's able to work around him for a second, goes down and does not draw the whistle of Will Nichols, head referee for today. Janssen, one of the more fouled players in the GNAC, so elusive in that wide area. Tough to get him off the ball without taking him down. And with the set-piece delivery that Western Washington has had, that is a big plus. Caden Wall has been excellent. He's been a dead ball specialist for a number of seasons now in his senior year. Seniors on this Western team certainly in the back of their minds that they've only got 2 more games left at Harrington Field in their collegiate careers, with senior night next week. Good on them to fight this year and make it so these last 2 games are so meaningful in this playoff push. Nikolai Plaxit, he plays it back. Plaxett scored at Harrington last season. That was a 2-1 win for the Vikings on that year's senior night against an SFU team that was ranked in the nation. Perhaps the best win of 2023 for Western Washington. Goals from Elliot Rains and Diego Alvarado, just enough to beat a really quality Simon Fraser squad. Sundberg, the intercept, plays it off to Quao. Quao looks ahead towards Bunnell. Bunnell, the Vikings' leading scorer, has a long shot. It's nowhere near. It might end up working as a cross. I'm not sure what the intention was, but it does find Sundberg. And back to Roeder. He'll recycle it. Roeder, switch of play right to the feet of Tidblom. Bunnell thought about turning with it, but stays back to goal and gives it back to Tidblom. This is the patient build-up play that's worked so well for the Vikings over this 6-game win streak, holding on to possession. Not jumping the gun, trying to get the best shot they can. It says a lot about the quality of this team that they play so patiently, and yet they still do lead the GNAC in shots per game. And that conversion rate has crept up as well. It was a problem last year and early this season. But now in the upper half of the conference as far as scoring goes, conversion has been the Achilles heel of this Simon Fraser team. 13 shots per game and less than a goal per game. Easily the lowest shot to goal conversion rate in the conference. That has been the problem for this SFU team. A lot of talent and young talent, but the loss of distributors and players that draw a lot of defensive attention, players like Ohea, like Papakirakopoulos, and like Ali Zohar, have left a lot of additional pressure on the young strikers coming up through the ranks. The Red Leafs do have the defending GNAC Freshman of the Year in Michael Hennessy. Hennessy, however, has missed time this season, but he is on the field right now. He is their current leading scorer with 4. Another one of the returning all-GNAC members of this Simon Fraser team is Koji Poon. He scored against the Vikings in Burnaby, the reverse fixture which the Vikings won 3-1. That was just a couple weeks ago. Johnson tried to carry it inside but was dispossessed by Hennessy. Poon backheels it, and they find Hennessy on the run. Tidblom just enough pace to get there. Back to Dyer. Dyer, the first-year Division I transfer, having an excellent debut season in blue and white. Leads the GNAC in goals against average at just over 1, and his top 3 in save percentage. Good ball in there by Dominique, and Silvetti does just enough as Hennessy was waiting for it on the other end. First corner of the match for the Red Leafs. It was a game a couple weeks ago between these two teams that, although Simon Fraser led on the shot chart 17-15, Western Washington outperformed them in Burnaby, putting up 3. Held a 2-goal lead before a Koji Poon goal made it 2-1, but a brace from Eric Bunnell and a splendid free kick from Joar Tidblom were the difference. They play a short corner to Colborne. Colborne plays it back to Hennessy. Low miss-hit cross is right at Aiden Fernandez, who clears his lines. Eric Bunnell right now up front for the Vikings. He is second in the GNAC in goal scoring, behind only SPU's Raimundo Mendez. The last 3 games, he has 4 goals. That was back-to-back braces before he was kept off the score sheet against St. Martin's. Goal scorer in that game, Lucas Hakamada, who was just named as the GNAC Offensive Player of the Week. Hakamada, an assist against Northwest Nazarene in a come-from-behind win. The winner against St. Martin's, and Hakamada, a player who just does everything on both ends of the pitch. Surprised to not see him in the starting lineup right now for Greg Brisbane. As there is another injury on the field right now, way behind the play, going down was Maddox Colligan. This is not the start that Simon Fraser wanted. 2 players going down within the first 10 minutes. As Colligan has not been the first choice goalkeeper this season. That has been Jordan Thorson. Another young player, redshirt sophomore. I'm sure Thorson will be prepared to come on here to replace Colligan. Colligan, who is making just his second appearance of the season today. He did appear in one of the Red Leafs' only 3 wins, picking up wins against Seattle Pacific, against Northwest Nazarene, and against Stanislaus State. The lone 3 victories. So unusual for this Simon Fraser team, a team which was in the Final Four in back-to-back seasons, 2012 and 2013. There's only been 1 year that they've been a part of the GNAC where they haven't been in the top 2 of the final standings. They have 8 titles. That is the most of any GNAC program. That's the majority of the titles since 2010. Colligan still receiving treatment right now. And it's always the most worrying injuries that happen way off the ball, as Colligan hadn't really been called into action since he saved the Caden Wall shot in just the 2nd minute of the match. SFU has had a bit of a goalkeeper decision to make this year. A bit of a goalkeeper by committee that they've run. They've had 3 goalkeepers get minutes. Colligan, Christopher Nicolaisen, and Jordan Thorson. Thorson, the leader in games played with 10. Colligan's back up to his feet. Good to see. Trainer over there saying that we'll keep an eye on it. It's that right leg that's giving him trouble. But he looks like he will be able to carry on. No substitution to be made. Colligan, I'm sure, trying his very best to not give up this opportunity in a big match to make just his 2nd appearance of the year. We're going to restart with a drop ball. Joar Tidblom will take it right at the halfway stripe. Tidblom, who put up perhaps the highlight of his collegiate career against these Red Leafs with just one of the best free kick goals that you'll see a couple weeks back, curling it in from 25 yards out to the top right corner, beyond outstretched arms of Jordan Thorson. Lifted over the top, running onto it is Justin George. Getting just enough fit to send it back to Dyer is Sebastiano Silvetti. He's been busy and he's been effective. Tidblom dribbles it beyond the press of George. Vikings looking to cycle the other side of the pitch as SFU is certainly giving attention to Albin Janssen here on this right wing. A player that deserves that attention, explosive, dynamic winger. They put it down the other wing. It's put into the middle towards Bunnell, headed back. Aaron Colborn got there ahead of Bunnell. Out for a Vikings throw. Sundberg throws it in towards Fernandez, back to Sundberg. Lifted into the middle, top of the box, and Dominique gets there. Red Leafs looking for their first real attack. They haven't threatened Charlie Dyer just yet. The back line for the Vikings has done well to snuff out the couple of balls over the top that they've tested them with. Colligan plays it to a center back. Colborn looking for options. He switches it to a center back pairing. And Nikolai Plaxit. Plaxit's goal last year against the Vikings at Harrington was a screamer from the outside of the box. Wouldn't end up being enough, though, in a 2-1 win with the rain and the wind coming down. Koji Poon looking ahead towards George, has a shot and it's in! Justin George, the substitute, makes it 1-0 with 10.5 minutes gone. What a strike! Well, you can't ask for a better first collegiate goal than right there from Justin George. No chance for Charlie Dyer. That was absolutely rocketed to the upper 90. And Western Washington are going to have to work out of a deficit, and that is huge for them. They are undefeated in matches this year in which they have scored first, but below 500 in games where they've conceded first. Western Washington, though, have picked up a lot of gritty wins over this win streak, and this would be among them if they can come from behind here. Although this SFU team is having an off year, it's not going to be long before they're back towards the top of the conference. There's a lot of talent on this squad, and we just saw it right there from George. Nervy ball out of the back from Colligan is played just well enough to stay away from the Vikings, who are now increasing this already high press. Fernandez chasing down his man, Justice Meyer, to try to take it back. Meyer's still on it, though. Poon can't get around Krubel Tesfaye, but Tesfaye can't control possession. Sundberg with the intercept. Inside to Fernandez. Vikings conceded early against MSUB in what was the second win of this current win streak, a game where they conceded a penalty in the first minute of the match and went on to win 2-1 with a penalty kick goal of their own from Quao Serrano and Bunnell with the winner. So not completely unfamiliar waters for Western Washington. Back-to-back years that SFU have produced wonder strikes at Harrington Field. This time, though, certainly not a consolation as we saw last season from Plaxit. This one's the difference early on. Silvette, long diagonal ball, searching for Janssen. Janssen could only play it straight to Michael Hennessy. Hennessy to Dominique. Dominique doing just enough to win a throw. For Simon Fraser, fortunate to run against this Western Washington team to start this match without Lucas Hakamata, who does a little bit of everything, the do-it-all midfielder, who's not starting this match for Greg Brisbane. Hakamata fresh off a GNAC Player of the Week selection. Of course, conceding early against SFU is something that teams have come back from before, as this is, as I've said, a team that plays very open matches. Bunnell space for a shot. Good save from Colligan. Colligan bats it off to his right. It might have been going wide, but he was taking no chances. They immediately start the counterattack up to Poon. SFU, a team that likes to work quickly end to end. A lot of high-scoring affairs this season. Their last match, 5 goals in it, 4-1 loss against Western Oregon. Before that, 2-1 against Seattle Pacific and the 3-1 loss to these Vikings. At least 3 goals scored in the last 3 games. Western Washington, on the other hand, they've been playing more low-scoring affairs. They are yet to concede more than 2 goals in a game this season and are conceding just 1 per game. Two shots apiece. Make that 2 shots for the Vikings, 1 for Simon Fraser. Found the back of the net as that's a good ball to Dominique. Dyer's caught in 2 minds, but he reacts just in time. Shielding off right there was Albin Janssen. Red Leafs have done well to keep Janssen off the ball in this match. So immediately try to turn defense and attack. Tracking forward. Ball's on the other side of the field, though, as Fernandez tried to find a run of Roeder. Pass was intercepted. Hennessy, far side now. Simon Fraser have settled in well after getting the opening goal. It's often said that the first 5 minutes after a goal is scored is a dangerous time for teams. Perhaps playing a little bit looser. Vikings haven't been able to be effective immediately off the restart. Their best chance still sits as the Caden Wall first-time effort from the top of the box, as that one's dinked up for Dominique. He's going to keep it in play. One-on-one with Janssen. Works it around Janssen. Chips it into the middle, just beyond the outreach foot of George and the waiting arms of Charlie Dyer. Dominique showing his creative flair, going one-on-one with Janssen, who, despite playing a lot of his collegiate career as an out-and-out striker, has been shifted wide over the last season and a half by Greg Brisbane. does suit his speed and technical ability, but he's been put in a lot more defensive situations over the last year and a half, and he's adjusted well. As the clock is stopped right now as a Western Washington player took a ball deflected off the face. I believe that is Jacob Sundberg on the far side who got the worst of that one. Blocked an attempted ball over the top and just took it square in the face. Unfortunate. Hopefully he can shake this off. Western Athletics trainer Masa Megita out on the pitch. The trainers have been busy. This is the third injury stoppage we've had. The first 16 minutes of the match. Usually don't see that in an entire match. Something in the air tonight. Vikings in a tough spot right now. They have only one win this season when conceding first. They are 1-4-1. That lone win was against Montana State University Billings a couple weeks back. And those were in some adverse conditions. Monsoon rains and heavy winds up to 50 miles per hour. A game that certainly doesn't favor defense, and the Vikings were able to do enough in a 2-1 victory. They're going to have to produce another one of those today, as in my opinion, with the form that Western Oregon has been on, the Vikings are going to have to win out these last three games to get a shot at the playoffs, as Sundberg is now up to his feet and walking off the pitch. Clearly a bit shaken up. He's going to be substituted for now. Sundberg, a senior and a crucial part of this team. He's been a big part for a few years now. Senior out of Rockland, California. Sundberg's been good for a couple of assists this season. It's been a busy day so far for the trainers, busy for the scoreboard staff down on the sideline, starting and stopping a lot, as we're going to see the freshman Riley Burai Brown come onto the pitch, a player who has had so many positive impacts this season as a true freshman out of Seaholm High School. He's played a number of positions. Last time we saw him, it was against St. Martin's in a center back role, something we hadn't seen him do before, but he was the answer for Greg Brisbane as Sebastiano Silvetti served a yellow card suspension. Burai Brown, very technically gifted, excellent on the ball, very confident. He's got a trio of assists this year and provides good delivery off of long free kicks. That's a bad pass taken away by Quao. Up to Bunnell. Chance to break quickly here. Caden Wall on it. As a look towards goal. Into the middle. The back heel missed off the post. Quao Serrano tried to finish that off with style, and he just couldn't corral it in. He'll want that one back. That is an absolute sitter that he's put wide. Great play by him to make the initial intercept and find Wall in the wide area. And it's given right back to the Vikings in the box. Fernandez can't get that one into the middle. As Colligan, in his second start of his collegiate career, is looking shaky in distribution right now. Vikings not quite able to make him pay just yet. Wow, Serrano, he's going to be thinking about that one. Both of his goals this year have been from the penalty spot. That would have been his first from open play. By all accounts, he should have put that one away. Wall on the corner kick. It's going to be an outswinger. Short option is Quao. He does find him. Goes right back to the corner flag as Hennessy deflected it out. Simon Fraser, a team who give up about 6 shots on goal per game. Vikings already have a couple, as well as one off the woodwork now. Wall this time, he's going to go direct into the box. Far post over everybody, and out and collected by Burai Brown. He'll try to recycle it in. Silvetti, the center back, is up in the wide area now. Plays it around one, and it's going to deflect off of him on an attempted clearance and go for a goal kick. Credit to Silvetti, the out-and-out defender, playing it around his man there to try to get to the end line. Just didn't do quite enough. As Simon Fraser are clearly committed to playing these goal kicks short, and the Vikings know that, but they're putting 3 players at the edge of the 18-yard box every time a goal kick is taken. It's paid off already a couple times. Wow. Some technical skill, plays it up and over his defender. Now to Wall. Back to Tidblom. Vikings unfortunate to not have a tally on the board. A couple of good chances for Quao and Wall. Gone a begging. Did such a good job of converting in Burnaby a couple weeks back. Putting up 3 despite being outshot. Dominique wins the aerial duel against Janssen, but Tidblom gets to the seconds, plays it back to Dyer. Red Leafs wanted a handball there against Aiden Fernandez. It wasn't given by Will Nichols, as there is another player down on the pitch, and it's the substitute and the goal scorer, George. He goes down off the ball. Well, you can't blame the surface. It's turf. It's the same every single time, as George is now back up to his feet. Might have just twisted an ankle, and good to see we won't have another extended injury break, but the clock still does stop here for the 4th time in the first 20 minutes. Tidblom off the restart. Looking long, that one beyond even the pace of Albin Janssen, out for a throw. Vikings have actually held the advantage in the recent head-to-head series between these two programs, 6-4 in the last 10 matchups, but Simon Fraser, who have been a perennial powerhouse in this conference, holding the advantage 42-22-8 in the all-time series. It was Simon Fraser that the Vikings denied of a conference championship in 2019 when they finished atop the GNAC. It's just so odd to look at a GNAC table without Simon Fraser near the top. It's something that really just has not happened in the history of men's soccer in the GNAC. Lowest they've ever finished is 3rd. That was back in 2014. So this one is very well weighted for Janssen. Colligan, the goalkeeper, just got there in time. That is a risky play by Colligan to come off his line, and it paid off. He got there just at the same time as Janssen. If Janssen takes a good touch, he's got a wide open net. Colligan plays the sweeper-keeper role right there to perfection, gets it out for a throw. Aside from a couple shaky moments, he has held it down in net in his second collegiate start. Despite going down with an off-the-ball injury at one point already in this match. Tesfaye to Roeder. Fernandez turns around one, gets it back to Roeder. Played back to him. Good interchange on the far wide area. Now looking for a chance to put it into the middle. Wall and Bunnell are waiting for it. Roeder has space for that cross. He does. Headed away. Header was won by Aaron Colborn. He's been busy, as Silvetti that time just took a swipe at it, easily collected by Colligan. SFU once again goes short off the goal kick. You got to think eventually they're going to have to start booting these long, as the Vikings put so many blue shirts to press immediately. That through ball was a good idea, but Bunnell made the run wide. The pass came in towards the 6 from Quao. Poon wins the header over Quao. Flicks it on for Hennessy to apply pressure to, but he's not going to win the battle with both Janssen and Tidblom, the two Swedes in this Vikings starting lineup. Bunnell gets it to Wall and then goes down. Foul from Dominique draws the referee's ire. It just shows that this SFU team is definitely going to be a problem going into future seasons. The fact that this is a team without a couple of their big stars, not just from last year, but from this decade, in Devin O'Hea and Papakirakopoulos. A lot of young players have had to step up immediately into key roles. Just 4 returning starters from 2023. It's a rebuild year, but they'll be right back. It's just odd to see. Perhaps the only real rebuilding year that this program's ever seen as a part of the GNAC. Tesfaye wide towards Uri Brown. Hasn't been too involved down that left wing in a fullback role. That one's given away right to a SFU throw taken by Hobson. Hobson breaks in towards the middle. Tried to play it through for Poon, but Poon didn't make the run. Quick restart on a roll from Dyer. Splitting lines ahead to Roeder. Wall looks long. Couple players up there to receive. That one's going to get all the way to Bunnell. He's got Fernandez in support. Looks up, fakes the shot, now takes it, and it's just wide. And they're going to say that that took a deflection. It was a blocked shot in there. Well played by Justice Meyer, does just enough. As we're going to see the first changes of the match for Western Washington, aside from the injury substitution. It's going to be Lucas Whithauer replacing Albin Janssen on this right wing, and on the left, Diego Alvarado will replace Andrew Roeder. Whithauer, redshirt freshman who provides a lot of pace, and Alvarado, who actually scored his last collegiate goal against SFU last year on senior night. A well-taken counterattacking strike. As this time, Wall is not joined in the corner by a short option. This one will be going into the middle. Far post delivery once again. Tidblom goes down, wanting a whistle, and that's in! What a header by Quao Serrano! Looping over the head of Colligan. It's 1-1. Wow makes up for his earlier miss with his first goal from open play in 2024, his third of the campaign. He had to get that absolutely perfect from that distance on a header where he was leaning back a little bit. He had to loop it over the top of the goalkeeper, not a power header. Back-to-back games, the Vikings score beautiful headed goals. Last week from Lucas Hakamada, and now from Quao Serrano. And we've got a ball game here. As Quao Serrano immediately off his goal, creating, going forward. Goes 1-2 with Uri Brown, now ahead to Bunnell. SFU has had a lot of trouble holding on to leads this season. They lose one yet again. The Vikings make it 2 here in the first half. Uri Brown to the far post. Colligan rises up over the top of Bunnell to claim it. That's the first goal that Colligan has conceded as a collegiate player. He kept a shutout 52 minutes in his only other appearance this year. Dominique, he's been effective when he's been on the ball. He drives infield this time. Tries to switch it, but's put it right at Quao. Dominique, though, does the work to win it back. Red Leafs have space and numbers here to work ahead. They get it to Hennessy. One-on-one with Silvetti, now wide to Dominique, going one-on-one with Whithauer for the first time today. Torreson, Tristan Torreson, one of 4 Torreson brothers on this SFU lineup. Tristan, the only one making the start today. 2 strikers right now for the Vikings are Bunnell and Diego Alvarado. It was Bunnell to Alvarado off of a quick restart that gave the Vikings what ended up being the game winner last season at Harrington against these Red Leafs. Can that link-up play work once again in 2024? Nothing separating these two teams right now. George and Quao, the goal scorers. Hennessy dinks it ahead, looking for George again. That time it skipped on the turf, and Dyer collected it. "18 minutes remaining. As far as looking around the GNAC for the Vikings, nothing matters except Western Oregon right now. Vikings are in second and really the only team that can threaten the Wolves. Uri Brown, deflected cross, falls to the far end. Whithauer put it back in on a bounce. Uri Brown, a little shove in the back right there, is going to draw a whistle. Vikings, of course, riding the high of that game-tying goal, but realistically, they've got to go out and find a winner here. They cannot afford to drop 2 points against the Simon Fraser team, which currently sits sixth in the GNAC. They've got to win this one, go on the road to Billings, win that, and then pick up what would be their most impressive win of the year against Western Oregon on Senior Day. And that's just to put pressure on the Wolves to drop a game. They break ahead here with Bunnell. Whithauer's in a lot of space. They find him. Whithauer, one-on-one blocked by Dominique, and way out of Harrington Field. Well done by Dominique, the wide area player, tracking all the way back. He was the only defender to pressure Whithauer there, who otherwise would have had only Colligan to beat. Lucas Whithauer, who picked up his first collegiate point in that 7-2 win against St. Martin's, but he's still looking for his first goal as a Viking. Whithauer on it here. Trying to play it ahead towards Tidblom, but into a sea of red shirts. Torreson. Simon Fraser don't see anything building there on the right wing. They're going to try to switch it back in field. Colligan pressed by Alvarado and Bunnell, and he's forced to play it all the way to his corner flag. Has not looked comfortable under the press here with the ball at his feet. Vikings take it back before the Red Leafs get out of their defensive third. Fernandez into Bunnell. Wall wants it in the middle. They get it to him. Bunnell cuts it around one on his left foot. Strike is deflected by Fernandez. Didn't get to the goal. Right back into the fray go the Vikings. Whithauer, a line drive into the middle that's deflected up in the air. Knocking on the door right now are Western Washington. A lot of pressure on this technical area. Under 15 remaining. That's a beautiful ball by Tidblom. Another header. This one's going wide. That's an impressive piece of distribution from J.R. Tidblom. Put that in a perfect place for Bunnell, but hard to create power off that header. He tried to do it with a dive and put it wide. Changes for Simon Fraser coming off the pitch is going to be Isaac Strand. He'll be replaced by Dominic DePaula. DePaula, the freshman out of Coquitlam, BC. A number of freshmen on the pitch right now for Simon Fraser and in the rotation for head coach Clint Schneider in his 10th season. Schneider took over for an SFU team coming off of back-to-back Final Four appearances. Hasn't been able to bring them back to those heights, but has kept them a consistent force in this conference. Simon Fraser, although they were ranked in the nation and just ran through the GNAC in 2023, only threatened by Western Oregon, did fall in the first round of the NCAA tournament against 10-seed Point Loma. Dinked over the top by Quao. Vikings battling for it in that corner. They want a whistle. There's going to be no whistle. It'll be a throw-in. as Will Nichols right there is going to tell the Red Leafs to back that throw up, taking too many steps ahead. Deflected out for a goal kick. More substitutions incoming. Changes coming here for the last 15 minutes from both teams. It's going to be Diego Lopez, the transfer junior. He'll replace Krubel Tesfaye. Wide defender there on the left side. Diego Lopez, who, will go to the center back role as Joar Tidblom will shift out to the left. Lopez provides that long throw. That really just gives an extra set piece to the Vikings arsenal when he's on the pitch. That long throw on a couple of occasions has created goal-scoring opportunities. We saw the Vikings score their winner against Cal State Dominguez Hills off a Lopez long throw. That was a 2-1 win in non-conference play. SFU trying to get it ahead to George. Lopez's first defensive action of the match. Sends that one back, and Tidblom clears his lines out for a throw-in. Speaking of Cal State Dominguez Hills, Vikings men's basketball will be opening their regular season tomorrow night against the Toros at Carver Gym. We'll have the coverage here on Vikings TV. I will be alongside Butch Kamina. Hope you can tune into that, as always the most exciting time of the collegiate sports calendar here in early November, late October, when all the sports seem to converge. SFU ahead through Hobson. Hobson to the top of the box, lays it off for George. They tried to get it back to Hennessy, but Wall stepped in. Torreson hands it off to Dominique. Loses it, but gets it right back. Dominique has showcased his ability to work in tight spaces, something that he has immediately been tasked with here in his first year in red. Another Quebecois player. Intercepted by Whithauer, taken right out of the feet of Koji Poon. Trying to start a counterattack. Vikings have pace up front right now. Wall looking for the diagonal ball to Bunnell. It's behind him, but he does control it on the chest. Burai Brown. His cross is low. Whithauer is wide right. He had a couple of yards of space there, tried to side volley it off the bounce and just didn't make good contact off the toe, it looked like. It's going to be Koji Poon coming off for SFU. Poon, the goal scorer in the 3-1 loss against the Vikings in Burnaby. He's going to be replaced by Dejan Vujovic, sophomore, Burnaby native. Wall off a slip from Vujovic. Not a fortuitous start to his day here, as Alvarado just took a swipe at that one, took a deflection. Optimistic shot from that distance, turning towards goal, and it did not trouble Colligan, who collects with under 10 minutes now left in the first 45. Vikings have started to pour the pressure on. They're tripling up the Red Leafs in shots, 9-3. Saves, however, even 2-2. Red Leafs also thanking the woodwork, though, on the earlier Quao Serrano miss. Burai Brown stands tall. Takes it right back. Bunnell. Wall to support on the right side. Bunnell felt a tug at the jersey. He will get a call from Will Nichols. Bunnell, a player who has always been a physical presence up ahead, not scared to get tied up with a opposing center back and try to win that battle physically. He's been fouled a lot this year. Against St. Martin's, he took a number of knocks. I was surprised he was able to play as many minutes as he did. At one point, being shouldered into the concrete here on the near-end technical area, just got up and walked it off. It's going to be a 3-player wall for Simon Fraser, with Burai Brown and Caden Wall standing over this set piece. Burai Brown has had some great deliveries from this distance. If they decide to not go direct, as Will Nichols gets the SFU wall to back up a bit. Caden Wall does dink it in. Far side, Tidblom got ahead to it, couldn't create the power, right at Colligan. But a good routine from the Vikes. Dominique back to Plaxik. Dominique slipped for a second. Under pressure from Whithauer, Plaxik's forced to play it long. It's a good ball, but Vujovic once again is unable to control. First two chances to get a touch on the ball in this one, and he's whiffed on both. See if he can settle in here through the last 8 minutes of the second half. That's a beautiful ball up to Diego Alvarado just beyond him. He collides with Colligan, who's no worse for wear. Vikings' lone goal came off a set piece, but they have looked dangerous on the break. They've picked up interceptions in dangerous areas. Colligan once again is forced to clear it long with two blue shirts sprinting straight at him. Sidblom's going to be called for a foul there in the attacking buildup. Simon Fraser looking to perhaps take it quickly. They do. And now they're forced to play it back. Wasn't close enough to the spot of the foul, says Will Nichols. It's been such a frustrating season for Simon Fraser. A lot of games in which they have been able to do either a good defensive or good offensive job. They just haven't been able to put those two together consistently enough. You look at their 3 wins. 2 of those wins were their 2 shutouts on the year, and all 3 of those wins were games in which they're able to put up at least 2 goals. All 3 times they've scored more than once in 2024. They have won. That still leaves 11 games in which they've failed to score more than once, and all 11 of those games have ended without a Red Leaf W. They snapped a losing streak recently on the road against Seattle Pacific. That was a come-from-behind win, 2 goals in the last 13 minutes in Seattle to beat the Falcons, but were then beaten soundly 4-1 by GNAC leaders Western Oregon. Vikings down the left wing. A shot was rifled in there by Bunnell. Deflects back out to Burai Brown. Far post cross is far too close to Colligan. The evolution of Eric Bunnell's role within this team has been so good to see here in 2024. This is a player who, through 58 appearances, had 6 goals for the Vikings, and then doubled that in 5 games. His scoring streak, which has him at 7 for this season, second most in the conference. Alvarado clips it far side. Burai Brown just keeps it in the area, but doesn't keep it far enough away from the defense. Vujovic. Silvetti stepping all the way up, wins it back. Alvarado inside to Fernandez. Wow, the goal scorer, a nice turn, another one. Bunnell at the top of the box, no space to shoot. Whithauer surveys his options and looks to switch it. It does get across to Burai Brown. As it's played out after a good string of patient buildup from the Vikings that just wasn't able to end in a shot. They're going to put another 2 substitutions up here. It's going to be a new striker on the pitch for Western Washington, Frank Miedema, who's got 1 goal this year. It came against Seattle Pacific in Seattle, and Fukai Imamura is going to replace Quao Serrano. Bunnell coming off the pitch, so the Vikings' lead goal scorer and their goal scorer in this match are not going to play the final 4 minutes of this first half. Miedema, who is just a bundle of energy up there, he is not afraid to get tangled up with players and impose himself on the game. That one falls out to Burai Brown, who was leaning back, got under it, and skied it far over the crossbar. Miedema, the kind of striker that you, as a center back, just hate to come up against. He'll sprint straight at you. He'll throw an elbow or a shoulder in there every now and again. He picks up his fair share of free kicks against him, and he never seems too mad that the whistle went against him. He knows it's part of his game. The strikers right now looking like Miedema and Fernandez. Hennessy off the second ball. Imura, the other substitute, transfer junior out of Crowder Community College, who's seen squad rotation minutes and a few starts here in his first season as a Viking. Still trying to lock up a consistent spot. He has been getting good minutes, though. Originally from Osaka, Japan. Vujovic trying to get beyond Miedema. He does just enough. Dinks it up ahead as Vujovic goes one-on-one with Silvetti, and Silvetti clears it long, keeps it in play as well. Two minutes and change on the clock. These two teams to try to find a difference through the first 45. That time, Miedema tracks back and wins it to Burai Brown. Vikings are undefeated when they lead at the half. 3-1-2 when they go into the half tied. A difference maker in these last 1 minute, 35 seconds could be huge. Silvetti. Aiden Fernandez can't win it off of his own chip ball. Storison plays it right to the feet of Joar Tidblom. The patient build-up play of these Vikings. Be surprised to see more than one more chance in it for them before the halftime buzzer goes. Lopez looks long. Whithauer has the pace on that side, but it's beyond him. So Whithauer does commit the foul on his man.
1 minute.
DiPaola. SFU free kick. They do not seem in any hurry to take it. They have not been on the right side of the latter portions of this first 45. It's been all Western Washington. There was a period about 10 minutes after the SFU goal where they looked to keep their foot on the gas, but after that, Western Washington just started putting up chance after chance. They were rewarded off a set piece by a Quao header. .15 seconds left. Long ball's intercepted by Lopez, but taken right back by Vujovic. DePaula dispossessed by Burai Brown. Tidblom puts it up, a prayer towards Miedema. It's going to be headed back, and that will do it for the first 45 minutes. A beautiful opener from Justin George and a response by Quao Serrano has us knotted up at 1 apiece. We'll be back for the second 45 in just about 15 minutes here on Vikings TV. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back here to Western Washington University men's soccer. 45 minutes have gone between the Western Washington Vikings and the Simon Fraser University Red Leaves with nothing to separate the two. An opening goal from Justin George, a screamer from the top of the box, stands as SFU's only tally on the match. Vikings were able to respond off a set piece. Klaus Serrano heading one in from about 10 yards out, a perfectly taken header, lofting over the goalkeeper, tying things up. And even though Western Washington had the lion's share of the chances to close out the second half, they were not able to make good on any of them, as we still stand at 1-1. Shots in that first half, 13-2, make that 13-3 in favor of Western Washington. 3 saves made by SFU goalkeeper Colligan in his second collegiate appearance for the Red Leafs, and Charlie Dyer on the other end of the pitch making a couple of saves. Both teams even on fouls at 5 apiece. Western Washington with 4 corner kicks, Simon Fraser with 1. It was a beginning of the match which was very even. We saw chances on both sides. Simon Fraser continually testing the Viking back line, trying to find a mistake, and they were able to find that bit of daylight on the George strike, which is the first of his collegiate career. But since then, they completely closed up shop, and Western Washington were applying all the pressure for the last 25 or so minutes of that second half. I was able to listen in to the halftime talk from SFU head coach Clint Schneider, and I can only do that because he did not allow his team to go back to the locker room. He gave them the halftime talk right on the bench on the field here. The head coach is not happy with how SFU has adjusted to the surface here. They're all playing quick off the turf at Harrington Field, and SFU haven't been used to it. We are now underway here in the second 45. I am Adam Race, your voice of Vikings soccer. Thank you very much for joining us here on Vikings TV, as Simon Fraser in the red will attack from left to right here for the second 45. Vikings in the blue attacking from right to left. Schneider was telling his players to readjust where their press is, because right now Western Washington are seemingly possessing the ball with impunity and just building out these slow, patient attacks that Greg Brisbane loves to create. And it seemed it was just attack after attack after attack to finish off that second period, with SFU really not controlling the ball in the attacking third very much. It was a bit of brilliance that gave them their opening tally. Isaac Strand, a first half substitute, is on the ball here, pressed by another substitute in Fukai Imamura. Strand gives it right away to Frank Miedema. He stayed off the pitch after coming on with just a couple minutes remaining in the first half. Miedema sitting on 1 goal here in 2024. He is the top of the Vikings formation right now. Striker alongside Diego Alvarado. Schneider was also telling his players to keep the pressure on the left side center back for Western Washington right now, Diego Lopez. Not on the field right now is Sebastiano Silvetti. He was a first half substitute after returning from a yellow card suspension, and he is just so crucial to how this team plays, as Alvarado's got a lot of space here, puts it on the ground into the middle, turning is Miedema, and it's saved back to Miedema. Second shot deflected over. What a point blank save from Maddox Colligan. I don't know if he knew anything about it. It came at him so quickly. It just ended up straight at the leg. Miedema will be unhappy to not have his second goal of the season on that attack right there. Vikings immediately will go back for a corner kick. They've already scored off of one today. It's going to be an outswinger taken on the far end. Klaus Serrano puts it to the top of the 6. Imamura got a head to it, and it's just wide right. That was great connection on the forehead of Fukai Imamura. He just wasn't able to direct it correctly. Imamura, who would have picked up his first goal as a Viking on that one. Immediately, 2 big opportunities go a-begging for Western Washington. That was the story of the start of the match for the Vikings, as they were unable to score off a couple of good chances from Caden Wall and Klaus Serrano. They have 15 shots already in this match. That is more than their game average of 14. SFU, a team that has given up a lot of shots against them this season. And that has not changed here today, but when you look at the reverse fixture in Burnaby, Red Leaf saw a lot more of the ball. They were putting up a similar number of shots. It's been all Vikings, though, in this one. They get it up to Imamura, again in an advanced position, trying to dribble it beyond the defender. He goes down, and he played that one out. It'll be no whistle from head referee Will Nichols, a half-hearted call for a penalty from Imamura, but that was all shoulder-to-shoulder contact. Simon Fraser, they only have 3 shots, but they have forced a couple of saves out of Charlie Dyer. Kept him busy on some balls over the top as well. Under the bright lights here at Harrington Field, an early kickoff, but daylight savings doing its thing, and looks similar to a 7 o'clock kickoff here. Couldn't ask for a better day or a better night for soccer. Not too hot, not too cold. Good to see that the injury spell of the first 20 minutes of this match is gone, as we saw 4 injury timeouts early on. Something you don't see too often. Trying to control it around pressure there was Lucas Whithauer, redshirt freshman who has stayed on after coming on as a substitute in the first half. Whithauer had a good opportunity denied by Dominique on a point-blank shot block. Whithauer 1 assist here in his debut season. 5 minutes gone here in the second 45, and it's been all Western Washington creating the chances. A couple of shots that they've been unfortunate to not put on goal, and one that was saved by Maddox Colligan from point-blank range, as Diego Lopez going one-on-one right now with Dominic De Paula by his corner flag. Stays in bounds off De Paula for a minute and now does go out for a goal kick. De Paula said that took the last touch off of Lopez, but no convincing Will Nichols. Intercept at the midfield as Tidblom goes down. Laid off for Daniel Hobson. Hobson infield finds Devi Romero, a halftime substitute. Near side, Isaac Strand. That is not the cross that he wanted to put in. Far away from the red shirt targets in the middle. Out for a goal kick. The standings coming into this match day here. Western Washington in second place on 19 points. Simon Fraser in 6th place out of 7 on 6 points. Vikings coming into this match 5 points behind Western Oregon in first, who do not play today. So the Vikings need a win to keep pressure on the Wolves, put them within a couple points of that top spot. They'll then go on the road on Saturday for the reversed fixture against Montana State University Billings. The Vikings picking up a come-from-behind win in Bellingham against the Yellow Jackets. Every game crucial down the stretch. They got to find a winner in this one. 1 point is not going to do. Lopez curling it just over the crossbar. Excuse me, that was Diego Alvarado trying to whip it in with the left foot. It'll restart on a goal kick. And once again, SFU will take it short, and the Vikings immediately pressing ahead. Ran into trouble a couple of times in the first half off of those goal kick routines, but they've improved on it since. Koji Poon plays it back for Michael Hennessy. Lifts it up far side, looking for Aaron Colborn. Into the middle, header won by Tesfaye. That's something you can count on Grubel Tesfaye to do, game in, game out. Get to those balls in the air and get them out of the danger area. Definition of a no-nonsense center back. As Miedema takes a spill trying to track back. He's right back up to his feet. As once again, Tesfaye gets there first. This time not a clean connection on the clearance. Works the same though, out for a throw. thrown in and played right back to Isaac Strand. Attempted bicycle kick by Koji Poon doesn't work, and the line drive shot at the end of it gets a courtesy jump from Charlie Dyer, but over the bar. Not bad contact at all, just unable to keep that rising ball down. Other games happening around the GNAC tonight. Northwest Nazarene beating St. Martin's 3-1 as the Saints are still without a positive result in 2024. They fall to 0-11. If they can't pick up a draw or a win this year, they'll be the first team since 2014 South Dakota School of Mines to go a full GNAC season without a point. Vikings have done the double over St. Martin's. And that was the last win for the Vikings as well. A 1-0 result, which was actually the closest the Saints got to picking up a point this season. Saved by a late Lucas Hakamata header. Lucas Hakamata, who I must say again has not seen the field today. I don't believe he will if he hasn't already. Cannot confirm why he has not come on today. Perhaps dealing with an injury, but on the bench for Greg Brisbane's Vikings today, coming off the back of a GNAC Player of the Week selection. Someone who has been a just week in and week out presence. Red Leafs building on the far side. They've got one shot here in this second half. It flew over the bar. That was their first chance they'd had in probably 25 minutes as Whithauer did very well there to win it away and tries to start a counterattack. Miedema forging ahead. Just a step behind it. You can see in the way that Frank Miedema plays that he has the classic striker's instinct. He's thinking about nothing besides getting to the ball and putting it in the back of the net, and you love to see that for a center forward. Michael Hennessy one-on-one with Krubel Tesfaye. Hennessy wins that duel, gets beyond him into the middle. Poon trying to control it straight at Dyer. It's on the goal line. It's in. And I think that was an own goal off of Diego Lopez. What a tough way to give up the tie and get back to 2-1. Vikings, a lot of work to do. They're going to need at least 2 more goals to get all 3 points here today, as that is an avoidable mistake. It was deflected off a couple of players. Koji Poon looked completely controlled there at the near post ahead of Charlie Dyer. It popped out of his feet, and Lopez just took a deflection off of him, found it at the back of the net. And a familiar sight for the Vikings. They actually saw a very similar own goal go in against them off of Riley Burai-Brown in Nampa. But that was a game they came back to win 3-2, so hopefully they can repeat that feat here today. They make the first step towards that in bringing their lead goal scorer back onto the pitch in Eric Bunnell. He replaces Miedema. That is completely against the run of play, but good on Simon Fraser for causing the mistake in the back. Bunnell, his first touch of the second half, ahead towards goal, cuts it inside, goes down, no whistle. Bunnell still down on the ground. He certainly had an argument for a call. 2 players still down on the ground in the SFU box. It's hard to deny that he took a knock on that, but Will Nichols saying that it was not a foul offense, as it looks like the goalkeeper Colligan is also shaken up. Bunnell, who still has to be recovering from some of the knocks that he took last week against St. Martin's, is down on the ground in a little bit of pain, but it looks like he's going to get back up. Trying to identify the player that he took to ground with him for Simon Fraser, who is still down on the turf. And this is the 4th time a Red Leaf has gone down and caused a stoppage for an injury in this match. Never like to see that. Of course, in NCAA rules, clock stopping on the referee's whistle, or the referee's signal at least, meaning that injuries are, unlike in the pros, never a reason to waste time. one of my personal favorite things about the NCAA rule set. Extended breaks aren't taken unless necessary, as once again the trainer is going to jog out here for Simon Fraser. It's been a tough night for the Red Leafs, dealing with the surface and with the physicality of play from these Vikings. Western Washington, the team in the GNAC that's committed the most fouls, tied with Montana State University Billings in that statistical category. They play very physical and aggressive on both ends of the pitch, and it can get to teams at times. As the SFU player is back up to his feet. And he'll walk off under his own power and fight. In fact, might walk it off and stay on the pitch. I believe that's Daniel Hobson. He'll have to go off the pitch at least for a second as the trainer came out. But Hobson does look to be all right. Hobson, who has had a solid season this year for Simon Fraser. He's got 2 goals and an assist on the season. That puts him 3rd in points for SFU. He's an important player for head coach Clint Schneider, and he's going to go right on as soon as he can here, awaiting his chance to be called back onto the pitch by the referee. So after a bit of a scare, everybody is going to stay on the pitch. Clock is stopped at 34 minutes and 1 second. Vikings have already overcome a 1-goal deficit in this game, but this season they've only come from behind to win once. And they're going to have to, in essence, achieve that feat twice tonight. And we are restarted here. Tidblom to Lopez. Up towards Alvarado. Heavy touch taken away by Nikolai Plaxit. Plaxit forging ahead on his own. 2 blue shirts ahead of him. Deflected pass by Lopez. Hernandez. Oh, what a ball to Bunnell. Bunnell's all alone. He's going to be in a one-on-one, and he puts it straight at Colligan. He was chased down there by Isaac Strand, who did just enough to make it a tough opportunity. Bunnell had to rush it a little bit, and he just couldn't put any power on that shot. As Colligan puts it straight out of play. Got to be disappointed if you're Bunnell, but what a ball that was by Aiden Fernandez, finding the clear path through the defense. As we're going to see subs for the Vikings as Greg Brisbane trying to adjust to this deficit. Fukai Imamura and Lopez, the 2 transfer juniors, they're coming off the pitch, replaced with a little more Viking experience. The senior Caden Wall and Sebastiano Silvetti coming on. Silvetti going back to center back. Wall in the midfield. He'll be involved in defense and attack. The Vikings assist leader in 2024. Been good for a couple of goals as well. SFU has done a much better job so far in the second half, forcing the Vikings to play their game. Another nice move to get some space and Wall. Put everything behind that clearance, out for a corner kick. Move into the box was made by Koji Poon. Poon, who is a one-time GNAC All-Conference selection. That was last year as a freshman. Poon's goal-scoring numbers have gone down this season. You can see similarly with Michael Hennessy, who had 13 tallies last year, has only 4 this season. It's been tough to adjust to the loss of some of the distributors for Simon Fraser as Bunnell wins that header, sends it straight up into the air. Lopez heads it back for now. It's lifted back over the top. Poon got a bit of it, but lifted it wide. You just look at the players that Red Leafs lost to graduation last year. Zohar, a player who had 5 assists from the wide area. Papakirakopoulos was a defender. He was the GNAC Defender of the Year, but he had 8 assists. And Devin Ohea, the GNAC Player of the Year, he had 9. Over 20 assists that they have lost to graduation, and it has affected their strikers. But tonight they've done everything that they can. They've scored off of a beautiful strike by the freshman George and created an own goal. It's been gritty so far from Simon Fraser. Vikings know about grit, though, on this 6-game winning streak. How much do they have left? They have enough to extend it to 7. Cross field, it did not find the intended target of Caden Wall. Poon lays it off to Daniel Hobson. This is much better from SFU. Something you did not see very often in the final 30 minutes of that first half was red leaf build-up play, bringing it beyond midfield on their own terms. Hennessy breaks between a couple of defenders. He's trying to take it himself. Goes down but does not draw a whistle. Fernandez, Silvetti up to Alvarado. And now wide to Burai Brown. Came on as a substitute for the injured Jacob Sundberg and has played every minute since. Alvarado has a long distance shot, a knuckleball, which went far over the bar. Not troubling Colligan, but good contact. Kunda Binamin Dominique is going to come in. He played a lot of that first half after starting and was dangerous in the wide areas. He will come on alongside Justin George, the goal scorer, so a little more attacking firepower on the pitch here for the Red Leafs. Restarting here with just under 29 minutes remaining on the clock on the kick of Colligan. Shots are 18-6. This is a familiar sight for Western Washington. One of the most frustrating losses they've taken this year. It was a 2-1 loss against Northwest Nazarene, where the Vikings put up 4 times as many shots as the Nighthawks. Of course, that is the way that NNU has played this year, pure counter-attacking football, and it's worked out pretty well for them. That wall is searching for Aiden Fernandez. Fernandez is battling one-on-one with Tristan Torreson to get to it. Torreson clears off his own player. Burai Brown. Tesfaye. Last defender back is Silvetti. Bunnell's wide open on the near side. He gets it. Infield to Quao. Quao, long curling strike. No difficulty for Colligan on that save that he holds. 19th shot of the match for Western Washington. 6th save for Colligan. He has been very solid here in his second collegiate game, despite conceding the first goal of his collegiate career. Bunnell turning as he charged towards the end line. That's a beautiful bit of skill from him and goes down to draw the free kick as well. How about that from your out-and-out striker? This is a good distance right here for Burai Brown and Caden Wall to put a ball into the middle. I've already seen a couple occasions this season where Burai Brown has put this in an inch-perfect spot for a header. And Wall as well has been excellent from dead balls. It will be Burai Brown. This one, though, is a little bit short. Long shot will come from Fernandez, driven way wide. Substitutes coming for the visitors. Substitutions for Western Washington. It will be a couple of attacking changes, as Greg Brisbane knows the Vikings are going to need 2 goals here to keep pace atop the GNAC. It's Andrew Roeder and Albin Janssen. A couple of the quickest players in the conference. Janssen this year, he's got 2 goals and 3 assists. Roeder, 3 goals, 1 assist. Those are the kind of players who can create something out of seemingly nothing. And they've been clutch as well. Albin Janssen is already in the top 10 in program history in game-winning goals as a Viking. He's only a junior. And we saw Roeder earlier this season draw a penalty that ended up winning it against Seattle Pacific as Burai Brown has been dispossessed by Michael Hennessy. To Paula. Justice Meyer gets it back off a 1-2. Switches play to Dominique. Dominique tried to play it one touch back into the middle, but it was straight at Tidblom. Fernandez, good turn, draws the whistle. Conversion has been an issue in years past for Western Washington. That was the big story in 2023. One of the highest shot per game marks in the conference and one of the lowest goal per game marks. They seem to have exercised those demons in 2024, but they need a lot of conversion down the stretch here as they've only got one goal off 20 shots, and they need two more in 25 minutes. Bunnell that time called for getting too handsy with the defender. It was Hennessy who drew the foul. Can't knock the Vikings and how they've controlled this match with shots at 20-6. Especially when you look at the fact that they were actually outshot in Burnaby by these Red Leaves. Just got to find the end product. Wow to Burai Brown. Wall collects in a wide area. Looks to hit an early cross. Bunnell's up there. Roeder as well. Roeder's in an offsides position. And if the Vikings can't pick up a win today, they're going to need Western Oregon to just about lose out. They'll definitely need to beat them on senior day and hope that a couple of upsets happen alongside that. Plaxic drives in, and the finish was not as good as the build-up. Only other match happening in the GNAC right now is SPU-MSUB, which is 1-1 right now in the second half. Long ball over the top is going to draw the referee's ire as a player goes down. I believe it was Andrew Roeder who was dragged to the ground. It'll be a free kick in a good spot. Vikings' only goal-scoring success today has come off of wide area set pieces as the clock is going to be stopped at 22:51. Vikings have the big bodies in the middle. Bunnell, Tidblom, Silvetti, and Tesfaye. The four major aerial threats. Sure, Tidblom might be not be the tallest in there, but he has an incredible ability to win those aerial duels. Wall, the delivery, driven in near post. Dominique, first player there, headed it away bravely. It was aimed for Janssen at the near post. Well defended as Roeder has to chase that one back, pursued by Koji Poon. And Dyer gets it out away from the pressure. Slide in there by Burai Brown. That is a whistle, and it looks like it's going to be a card as well. Excuse me, I do not think that Will Nichols is going to go to his pocketbook. Usually when you see a referee call for the clock to stop off of a hard foul, it is for a yellow card, but not on this occasion. Still no yellow cards brandished tonight by Nichols, who's done well to manage this one through a lot of injuries. Quao Serrano wins it away. They get it up to Bunnell. Roeder's in the middle. They try to find him outside of the boot. Roeder has a shot. It's in! Tie game again. Andrew Roeder. Energy back into the crowd here at Harrington. For the second time tonight, the Vikings have come back to tie it. Tidy finish from the senior off of a good dish by Bunnell. Roeder's 4th goal of the season on Bunnell's 3rd assist. And once again, it's anybody's game with 22 minutes left. Man, did the Vikings need that. Credit to Greg Brisbane on the substitutions, getting Bunnell and Roeder back into the match after going down 2-1. They combine to tie it up. A lot of time in this one. A lot could happen. Hennessy into Poon. Back to Hennessy, the 2023 Freshman of the Year. Plays it out wide to Paula. Hennessy one-on-one with Sebastiano Silvetti. Patient stuff here from SFU, working around this Vikings block. Trying to find a way through his Meyer, but he's denied by Burai Brown. Can he start another counterattack here? Bunnell's ahead of him. Bunnell cuts it infield, a lot of space for Fernandez. His shot is blocked. Nikolai Plaxit doing just enough to get in the way. Pressure, pressure, pressure from Western Washington. We saw the half turn on SFU in the first 45. We're going to see a similar story here in the second period of play. Tidblom tried to go one-on-one with Andrew Roeder, and it skipped beyond him. Albin Janssen there, unable to bring it down on touch, out for a throw-in. Dominique to take. Andrew Roeder, who has been clutch throughout his entire Vikings career, has come up with a huge game-tying goal, as there was a dummy in there that Roeder wasn't able to react to in time. Good idea from Fernandez, as Jacob Sundberg, the co-captain, the senior, he's going to come back onto the pitch. He's going to replace Burai Brown. Sundberg, who took a knock early in this game, a ball that came up and hit him in the face from point-blank range, was clearly shaken up. And after about an hour of rest, he'll come back on to replace the true freshman. See this one out. Silvetti, calm as ever in the one-on-one situation, shields the defender, wins the ball. Fernandez skips by a tackle. If you're Greg Brisbane, you have to love how your team has responded here. It's been the theme down this winning streak. Not letting a negative action get to them, and there's nothing more frustrating than an own goal. The Vikings, certainly no quit in them. Got right back into this. They've got 19 minutes to try to find a winner. It'll be their second come-from-behind win this season. Colligan boots it over midfield. Header won by Quao. Down for Tidblom. Second ball, though, falls to SFU. Hennessy brings it across midfield. Hennessy and Poon, the two all GNAC selections, linking up in the midfield. Deflected ball bouncing around in there. George is battling for it. He can't win it away from Silvetti. Janssen, the pass was just a little bit beyond him. He couldn't get clean contact with the attempted ball ahead. Infield to DePaula. Guarded by Sundberg. Drives him towards the end line, and a cross that goes over the crossbar and on to the top of the net. Well defended by Sundberg, forcing the errant cross. Still just a handful of shots in this one for Simon Fraser. They only have 4 on the match, 2 of which were saved by Dyer. Roeder, perfectly played pass ahead to Bunnell. Walls in the middle. Bunnell has space himself, though. Cuts it inside. Shoots, goes for the far post, and can't curl it in. That's a nightmare for a defender with Bunnell charging in towards goal. He had Caden Wall in the middle. You got to be caught in two minds of what threat you want to try to extinguish. In the end, they gave the space to Bunnell, who's still frustrated with himself. Putting that one wide would have been his 8th goal of the season. He's a player who has doubled his collegiate goal-scoring output here as a senior. He's been one of the best target player finishers in the conference. It's been huge for how the Vikings have built towards the second half of this season. Sundberg trying to thread it through for Roeder. A slide takes that away. It was Justice Meyer who did just enough. That time easily picked away by Quao Serrano. Roeder makes the run ahead. Quao finds him. Chasing it down, though, is Colligan. The flag was up against Roeder. Simon Fraser have once again found themselves in a shootout. They have been in a lot of high-scoring games, and they haven't found the good end of many of them. But SFU, though, putting up 2 goals for just the 4th time this season. The previous 3, all victories. 3-0 against Stan State. 2-1 against Seattle Pacific. As that one's taken away by Sebastiano Silvetti. Plays it off of Dominique out for a throw-in. Roeder. Janssen, a burst of pace ahead. He's one-on-one with Torreson. He's in a foot race with Torreson. You know what that means. Janssen's beyond him. Cuts it back now. In the middle is Fernandez. He picks it out for Wall. Wall, first time chance, and the Vikings lead! Caden Wall once again! Two goals in 10 minutes, and the Vikings are back from the brink and ahead 3-2. A perfect counterattack. They get it to Janssen, speeding down the wing, lays it off for Wall. He missed a first-time chance early on in this game, but he made no mistake from the top of the 18. 3-2 Western Washington. What a turnaround by these Vikes as they continue to battle game in, game out. They're in a good spot right now to win their 7th in a row. They have Simon Fraser on the ropes.
Assisting on the goal is number 7, Alvin Janssen. Vikings lead 3-2.
Albin Janssen, his 4th assist of the season. A beauty on the counter. And Caden Wall, 3 goals now and 5 assists. He has done a little bit of everything for the Vikings on the attacking end of things. Vikings had just 1 goal through their first 20 shots in the match. Since then, they've scored on their last 2 of their last 4 shots that they put on. As a yellow card's going to be issued there, a tough challenge goes against Sebastiano Silvetti, a player who's used to picking up yellow cards, but that time takes a spike, and the referee will go to his pocketbook for the first time tonight, I believe against Koji Poon. Caden Wall right now making a habit of late-game heroics at Harrington Field. The game-winning penalty against Seattle Pacific. As you can see, the energy has just shifted here. SFU had done so well through the first 20 minutes of this half, took the lead. It's the same story as we saw in the first half. Vikings just stuck with it, ended up completely taking back the momentum. Couple changes for SFU. Coming onto the pitch is going to be Ryan Torreson, the second Torreson brother to see the pitch here today. And Aaron Colborn will slot back into center back. Sundberg. Fernandez back to Wall. Vikings no longer in a hurry here, holding on to a lead. This is a team that just could not buy a high goal-scoring output game in 2023, and they've come up with it when it's mattered this campaign, and that's why they're still a contender here in the GNAC, ranked just outside the top 12 in the region. Currently RPI rating at around 14th or 15th in the region. Top 10 advanced the NCAA tournament, and of course automatic bid from the GNAC, the regular season champion. Skipped ahead for Torreson. Torreson taps it around. Wow, a nice move from him off the bench. Into the middle now for Hennessy. Hennessy trying to work it around Silvetti and Tesfa. He does get it to the far post. Dominique controls it off a knee. Janssen can't get it away, and it's a foul. A handball called against Dominique as he was trying to control that one. Tidblom ahead for Roeder. Wow, who scored the first game-tying goal of this game. Ryan Torreson. SFU all of a sudden, they have to change this game once again. They still only have 4 shots in it. As Wall somehow maintains possession with 3 red shirts around him. Gets it outside to Janssen, now to Tidblom. Finding Bunnell, who's shifted out to the right now. Trying to go far post. Roeder was the only player in the box as the Vikings are sitting further back right now. Bunnell's committing the foul against Nikolai Plaxit right there. Plaxit chipped it up and took the contact. As things stand, Western Washington would be going to 22 points on the GNAC season, just 2 points behind Western Oregon. Wolves, though, would have a game in hand. The way the schedule was worked out in 2024, Vikings are going to play Western Oregon on Senior Day, and the Wolves are going to have one more game after that. So even if the Vikings can win out, they'll still be spectators on the last match day to see who will claim the GNAC regular season crown. They have done just about everything that's been asked of them, though. Long ball lifted ahead towards Roeder. Bunnell in the middle went down wanting a foul. The result of that is that there's no one in the box. But Roeder does well to hold it up. Fernandez, and it's parried aside by Colligan. It was a solid strike there by Fernandez. Forced a good save out of Maddox Colligan, who's been very busy. I believe that is his 7th save of the night. Ball setting up for the corner kick. And the Vikings extend this lead, give themselves some cushion with 10 minutes remaining. It's lofted at the far post. Tidblom's up. It was just over his head. Swing and a miss right there from Bunnell as it skipped into the middle. Thrown out quickly by Colligan. Hard challenge in the middle. That is an immediate look to the pocketbook for Will Nichols. And the Vikings want a red card on that one. Fernandez took a hit that you could hear here from the top of the stands. And the yellow card is against Daniel Hobson. He did not even make eye contact with the referees. He walked away. He knew what he did. I've got headphones up here by the camera where we operate Vikings TV, and I still heard the contact on that. As it looks like we're going to have substitutes here for Western Washington, as the head referee is head to the sideline at the moment. Alvarado on the pitch. And now head referee Will Nichols back on the pitch as well. It's about the easiest foul call he will make all season, but we're back underway here with 9.5 minutes remaining. Slide by Quao Serrano, perfectly done. And Alvarado controls calmly. Back from Quao. Colborn's forced to clear it out, but it's straight at Quao, brings it down. Quao sporting the golden boots. Infield to Joar Tidblom. Crowd urging these Vikings on as they're 9 minutes away from their 7th consecutive win. Would be just their second 7-game win streak since 2007. The last one coming back in 2019 when they won 8 straight en route to a GNAC title. Sundberg looking for Diego Alvarado at the top of the box, but it falls for Fernandez instead. His shot is blocked. Quao will just play it outside of the boot to Wall. Just what the Vikings have done so well this year. Game management right now, controlling the game with a lead late, not letting SFU build. A lot of teams are going to sit back, put players behind the ball, soak up pressure. That's not the name of the game late on for Greg Brisbane's Vikings. They like to keep the pedal to the metal and not let opponents breathe, let alone get chances to tie it up. Sundberg back to Tesfaye. Part of the reason that these Vikings are tied for the best defensive record in the GNAC, just a goal conceded per game. They've conceded 2 here today against Simon Fraser. They've not conceded more than 2 a single time this season, as Burai Brown will replace Tesfaye. Greg Brisbane looking for Burai Brown to provide a little bit more on-ball ability, as Tesfaye, the no-nonsense center back, will go to the bench at least for a couple minutes with just a little bit left in this match. We saw Burai Brown win an all-defensive role for the last couple of weeks while Silvetti served a yellow card suspension. Fernandez finds Wall. Wall's shot from the outside of the box is wide right, goal kick. Not the sweet contact we saw on his goal, as the Vikings are approaching 30 shots here today. The scoreline is 3-2, but for huge portions of this match, Vikings have just absolutely dominated. That's a beautiful pass, curling it over to Janssen on the far side from Aiden Fernandez. Janssen in no rush to push things, plays it to Tidblom. Tidblom to Alvarado. Vikings continuing to just pull the strings out there right now. SFU are chasing this game. Quao. Back inside to Sundberg, who was in an offsides position. It would have been Viking ball off of a throw-in, but Sundberg just a step behind that defensive line, and SFU will take the ball back. They haven't seen much of it the last few minutes of this match. They had late heroics in Seattle a week ago against SPU. They were trailing that match 1-0 with 13 minutes remaining. Got a goal to tie it and then scored with just a minute and a half left to win it. So it's certainly not beyond this team to cause a late shock. Poon got dispossessed, and in the area was Daniel Hobson, but he knew he was offside, so he didn't go for it, as Dyer waits to the last second to scoop that up beyond the onrushing Michael Hennessy. Janssen somehow weaves his way through traffic ahead towards Alvarado. Janssen providing support alongside on-rushing Aiden Fernandez. As Alvarado looks to switch it to the far end, it was beyond Aiden Fernandez and out for a goal kick. Just 5 minutes left. We've seen a lot of great performances from Western Washington this season. This may be, if they can pull it out, the gutsiest that they've had. A team that had so many frustrations last season, setting the program record for ties in a year. A whole bunch of one-goal losses, games where they thought if they just had a few more things swing their way, they could have come out with victories. They've completely turned that narrative on its head in 2024. Not only do they have a chance to threaten for a title, but they thoroughly deserve that chance with the way they've been playing. Hennessy. Strand can't corral it, sends it out for a throw-in. Can hear the Vikings on the field telling Riley Bureau Brown to take his time on the throw, and it is Sundberg in the end who throws it in and wins the second ball on a header. Dominique, who was effective on the wide areas in the first half, has been kept quiet here in the second after coming on as a substitute. Whole Vikings defensive unit has been on their game for the last 45 as Roeder takes a touch ahead. He's going to be outpaced by Colborne, who plays it out for a Western Washington throw. Roeder will not take it immediately and instead hand it off to Sundberg. So looks like Vikings are going to go to the corner flag here. Take some more seconds off. They get it to Sundberg. Back to Roeder. 3 minutes left. Tidblom. Janssen. Swede to Swede, and now Janssen cuts in field and gives it back to his countryman. Sundberg calling for it on the near side. Tidblom tried to ping it to him, but mishit it. But the second ball once again falls with the Vikings. They've been winning all of these seconds, and it's made a huge difference in possession and the territory battle, as that is an off-the-ball foul and a tough one to take, committed by Aaron Colborne against Diego Alvarado. And that's really a game killer. That's the kind of foul you just cannot be giving away at this point in the match from Colborne, who's had a really good 90 minutes here today. It's been tested on a number of occasions, has come through. As you can see the Vikings' intentions here. They're not putting really any numbers ahead in attack for this. It's not too far out for Quao Serrano or Joar Tidblom to try direct. We've seen both of these players score from about this distance, and Tidblom did it just a couple weeks ago against these Red Leafs. Not going to be surprised if he gets another try at it here. Time is going to be stopped at 1:53. There's some confusion as Colligan was trying to build the wall. Tidblom curled that into the top right corner in Burnaby a couple weeks back. Second goal of the season and just the fourth of his career. An ability that, honestly, I didn't know he had, but now we know. And Quao Serrano, who scored his first Vikings goal from a very similar spot against the Colorado School of Mines. Tidblom does go direct, and it forces a good save out of Colligan.
Beautiful, Joe.
The depth of set-piece talent on this Vikings team is really impressive. You've got a few players who can go direct and a few players who can serve it into the middle. They've already gotten a goal off a set piece here today. Weren't too far off there. Colligan, another save. Colligan, by my count, has 8 on the day. As Quao Serrano, he tried a rainbow flick right there, and it did not work. Colligan urging his players ahead. 1:25 on the clock. He's just going to boot it down. Header is won by Fernandez. And now ahead towards Janssen. Once again, it's a foot race. Aiden Fernandez is the option, but Janssen's not going to take the bait. He's just going to wait for them to try to challenge him. He goes down. Oh, that's wonderful play from Albin Janssen. And with 1 minute left, that could be the icing on the cake. Janssen just waited for the pressure, and when it came, he worked his way around it. As Vikings are going to play this short, they're going to get it right back to that corner flag. Dominique trying to win it away. As long as it's at this side of the field, SFU aren't going to be able to do anything. They do win the throw, and they've got to sprint ahead, everybody forward. But the ball out of the back is just going to fall at Tidblom. I think that's going to do it. I think Western Washington has secured a famous come-from-behind victory here against Simon Fraser. Just the last few seconds to tidy up here. The energy is out of the Red Leafs. This one's decided. The crowd counts it down here. Western Washington has won 7 games straight for just the second time in the last 20 years. They are 2 points away from first place in the GNAC table, and they do it with an incredible come-from-behind victory. Vikings trailed on a number of occasions here tonight. They trailed 1-0, they trailed 2-1. They got goals out of Quao Serrano, Andrew Roeder, and the winner from the senior, Caden Wall. They come out 3-2 ahead of Simon Fraser, who got a goal from George, his first of his collegiate career, and an own goal. But Western Washington put 30 shots up on the board in the border battle. They come out on top for the second time against the Red Leafs this season. They go on the road on Saturday against MSUB in another must-win game, and then they return in a week for Senior Day against Western Oregon, which could have major implications on the GNAC table. But tonight, what a match from Western Washington. They do everything right. They pick up a huge win. I've been Adam Race, your voice of Vikings soccer. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to the whole Vikings TV crew here. Good night, and as always, Scoville.